Shakey was the world's first mobile intelligent robot, embodying numerous breakthroughs in artificial intelligence, robotics, computer vision, navigation, and other research areas. The robot was developed from 1966 to 1972 by SRI International, then called Stanford Research Institute, and its legacy and impact are still very much alive today.
Shakey's really the great-grandfather of things like self-driving cars and even military drones.
The hardware was really pretty primitive, but the software architecture and the software algorithms are what changed the world.
I think we all thought we were doing really interesting stuff, so it didn't really dawn on us that we were doing anything special.
Shakey established a position about what we should be thinking about as possible, as feasible.
To understand why Shakey is so important, we have to go back to 1966, and we have to understand where AI research was at that time.
Well, you have to remember that it was pretty much of a green field when Shakey started. All over the country and even outside of the United States, people were beginning to build the components to artificial intelligence. Nobody had tried at the time that Shakey was launched to integrate all the components of AI and robotics into a single moving vehicle that could reason about the world, could sense the world around it, and could take actions.
Prior to 1966, there were no robots, or at least not intelligent ones. The concept of an intelligent robot was limited to the realm of fiction.
You will meet a charming character in The Robot, always at your service.
When you read the title of the original proposal, it was something like a mobile automaton for reconnaissance. And the reason we called it an automaton was because until Shakey, you couldn't go into a funding agency and say, I want money to make a science fiction kind of device. And so we needed a name. And finally, Charlie, in his inimitable fashion, said, it shakes like hell when it moves. Let's just call it Shakey.
Key components of Shakey's hardware were a TV camera to observe its environment, an antenna radio link, bump detectors, and a push bar to move objects.
My role was mainly get the images and get whatever coordinates they needed to determine where they were and extract the information from the image. I remember when I first saw it, gee, that looks like a dishwasher, on wheels.
While charming, Shakey wasn't impressive for its looks. It was the AI and programming advancements that made it famous.
We structured Shakey software in 4 distinct layers, and that was the first time that a layered architecture was used for robots.
Shakey's pioneering software architecture paved the way to a new era of AI and robotics. The SRI team later developed Flakey, a research robot that demonstrated fuzzy logic and goal-oriented behavior. Then came Centibots, one of the earliest projects in swarm robotics, where 100 autonomous robots demonstrated the ability to map a complex area collaboratively.
I like how it's code that isn't just turning numbers into other numbers. You get to see the thing come to life right next to you.
Shakey also inspired research in natural language-based interactions, leading to the popular speech-based technologies that we use today. Shakey's breakthrough in computer vision is now used to help drivers stay in their lanes. And every time you get driving directions on your phone or a navigation system, you are benefiting from the A-star navigation algorithm, first invented for Shakey. Even NASA's Mars exploration rovers use navigational techniques that were first launched with Shakey.
The future is things like potentially having teams of autonomous aircraft that could go out, for example, and do firefighting, and doing this either fully autonomously or potentially in tandem with human-piloted aircraft that can go out and work with them collaboratively.
Shakey now resides in the Computer History Museum, visible to hundreds of thousands of visitors annually. And in 2017, Shakey was honored with an IEEE Milestone Achievement Award.
The Shakey milestone is important because, first of all, Shakey is the world's first mobile intelligent robot. In addition, this is the first IEEE milestone in the areas of either robotics or artificial intelligence.
Looking back, more than 50 years after the Shakey project began, it's inspiring to see how one small team can make such an impact. How one ambitious idea continues to benefit our lives. How one robot changed the world.
We didn't realize, I think, any of us, what the significance of this was. We knew we were the first, but nobody knew where it was going, and I don't think any of us would have predicted what happened.
Shakey planted the flag way out there. It's a model of the kind of ambitious projects that we should be looking at in the future.